Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host Gershwan and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today, we're talking about the Necrons. Let's get into 40 facts about Tomb Worlds. A Tomb World is one of the worlds across the Milky Way galaxy where the ancient and terrible Xenos known as the Necrons chose to go into hibernation over 60 million standard years ago, deep beneath its surface in their specially prepared catacombs and tombs. Every Necron tomb world has been constructed in accordance to a complex template that was devised by the Necroteer at the height of their civilization, utilizing physical principles and technology that have not been rediscovered by any other intelligent species since they began their long sleep. The Necrons created immense subterranean warehouses to store their race for the millions of years they would spend inactive, using their mastery of advanced interdimensional geometry. The Necrons built massive chambers that could house tens of thousands of their kind, in a space seemingly larger on the inside than out. Deep beneath these pyramid structures, the Necrons stored their horrific weaponry and erected powerful temporal stabilizers that would shield these warriors and their savage weapons from the ravage of time, much like a stasis field. Each tomb world, once it had been reactivated, awakened its sleepers in a rigid and predictable algorithmic sequence. First, the tomb world released a swarm of robotic scarabs and tomb spider constructs to attend the rudimentary needs of the stasis tombs. Soon after, the Necron warriors are reawakened and begin reconnaissance patrols of the region of the world surrounding their tomb. Using the information gained by these Necron warrior scouting missions, the Tomb World's automated systems assess the current circumstances that dominate its environment. According to ancient predetermined algorithms, the stasis tombs then bring online other Necron machineries and weapons as the circumstances warrant. The Necron Lord, or Lords, presented on a Tomb World, are encoded with this information and the data necessary to form artificial personalities, so that when they awaken, they can embody the singular purpose of the tomb world and make independent decisions. A large population center of one of the galaxy's younger races, usually mankind, may have been settled unwittingly on what is actually a Necron tomb world. When this situation is encountered, the tomb world's encoded programming reacts extremely aggressively to defend its hibernating hosts. As their automated system delves even deeper into their existing archives of data and storehouses of units and weapons, the tomb worlds, whose areas of influence have been invaded by the younger races, are gearing up to begin what will eventually become a full-scale retaliation action against the Imperium of Man and any other organized force that stands in the Necrons' way. This is a programmed behavioral pattern that the Imperial savants have dubbed the Harvest. When it comes to pass, it will be a genocidal level event on par with the war in heaven against the Old Ones millions of years ago. Necron tomb worlds appear to have no permanent organization or command structure, nor is the interaction of the various forces altogether clear to the savants of the Imperium. The Necrons' form of warfare could be best described as a continuous process of casualty, as each battle produces preordained responses from the controlling program of the tomb world. This evolving structure is made possible by a system similar to that used in the most complex assemblies of the Adeptus Mechanicus, which is known as Nodal Command. Nodal Command organization allocates a strict hierarchy to all the elements within it. The system grants great operational and decision-making capacities to certain nodes, while slaving the rest of the system to these nodes' autonomous command decisions. Necron Lords form the nodes of the command structure, allowing each Lord an allocated leadership value at any given time. Though the Adeptus Mechanicus could only guess at how this nodal command system truly operates, they have determined that there are at least 4 levels of hierarchy within the nodal command, which the tech priests have designed bronze, silver, gold, and platinum levels in ascending order to command priority. The nodal command system is also a communication structure and forms the basis for how intelligent information is gathered and orders issued to the necessary Necron units. The system is often likened to the ancient flowcharts once used to design cognitator algorithms during the Dark Age of technology. The decision taken by a higher level Necron Lord gives a single quick response. All relevant data and orders are then automatically trickled down to any subservient lords. The silver and bronze level lords slave to the gold level commanders. In situations where speed is less important than processing all the relevant information, decision-making differs across several bronze or silver level lords, and can even devolve down to the individual Necron warriors at specific times during the combat. This system allows for a great deal of coordination when required, but also still leaves room for independent action by distant combat groups should the need arise. A Platinum level Necron Lord, also known as a Necron Overlord, has not yet been encountered by the Imperial forces. Savant speculation indicates that this level of Necron Lord would command massive Necron fleets intended to harvest entire swaths of the galaxy. Such a Necron force might prove unstoppable. After multiple encounters with Necrons, it has become obvious to Imperial savants that as a conflict worsens, a Tomb World will temporarily withdraw its existing forces, before releasing a new, more potent army led by an extended nodal command. Essentially, the more a foe escalates its response to Necron forces, the more devastating will become the Necron offensive. In most situations, only a few Necron warriors and specialist support units, like the Destroyers or Wraiths, are deployed to defeat an emerging threat. But as resistance grows, so does the strength of the forces that will be released by the Tomb World's automatic system to the nodal command structure for use of the commanding Necron Lord or Lords. There are many stages to a Tomb World awakening. The first stage is the primary awakeners. The first elements activated by a Tomb World's automated system once the outside environment has been judged to be recipient to the hibernating Necron's awakening are the Tomb Spiders. These robotic custodians begin the initial task of opening and performing basic maintenance to the Necron stasis tombs. Imbued with the power of the Necron resurrection, the Tomb Spiders activate the Tomb World's initial reconnaissance forces, known as Raiders. The second group of primary awakeners, the smaller robotic constructs called Scarabs, secure the interior of the stasis tombs. In massive swarms numbering in the thousands, Scarabs seek out intruders and carry out any remaining essential maintenance on the stasis tomb's defense systems. The next stage is the Raider Force stage. Made up of a small number of Necron warriors and Scarabs, the Raider forces emerge into the outside environment with complete autonomy to carry out their mission as they see fit within the limits of their programming. The Raiders' purpose is to scout the surface of the Tomb World and any nearby star systems, seeking data on the location and status of the galaxy's other intelligent races. The destruction of a Raider force will produce one of two outcomes. The Tomb World may dispatch a second Raider force to determine what happens to the first, or the Tomb World may proceed immediately to the next stage of activation if a threat has been identified. This next stage is dubbed the Reserve Command stage. After the initial data gathered by the Raiders has been received by the Tomb World, the command of the Raider forces is given over to a Necron Lord, usually one tasked with the silver level of priority. When required, the Reserve Command will enter combat led by the Necron Lord, who also serves as a Reserve Command, who can take control of any already deployed Necron force should their primary Necron Lord be destroyed or incapacitated. The next phase is the Necron Line Formation stage. The majority of the units that make up a Necron field army are placed under this extension of the nodal command. Led by up to 4 bronze level Necron Lords, the line formations are made up of a wide variety of Necron fighting units. Ground forces are organized into units called Phalanx, which are made up of a core of Necron warrior transported by monoliths and supported by secondary fire support units like Destroyers, Immortals, and so on. These phalanx are often accompanied by units comprised of more specialized Necron troop types, known as cohorts. The Necron Lords of a line formation serve as a battlefield command circuit, and is able to pass data between themselves, upload data to the Platinum level Necron Overlord, or call upon reserve command for reinforcement or a more in-depth analysis of tactical information. Each tomb world may have a dozen of full line formations, which are activated as needed by tomb spiders and inserted into or removed from a nodal command as the flow of combat dictates. The next phase is the priority command phase. 3 gold level Necron Lords form the highest Necron command structure yet encountered by the forces of the Imperium on the battlefield. These Necron Lords are responsible for all the strategic decision making and can override the command and communications of bronze or silver level Necron Lords. They are also capable of committing and commanding the most powerful Necron units known to exist in combat, including the Pariahs, larger war machines like Tombstalkers, aerial forces, and starships. The final phase is the Platinum level Commander phase. No Platinum level Necron Lord, known as the Necron Overlord, has yet been encountered by the Imperium, and their existence has only so far been hypothesized from observing the actions of gold level Necron Lords. It is still speculation amongst the few Imperial savants who have been trusted with this data about the Necrons, whether the Platinum level nodal command is still hidden on a tomb world, or might perhaps even be a tomb world itself. The Adeptus Mechanicus tech priests are quite confident that the Platinum level Necron Overlord is not a Catan, who do not interact with the nodal command structure in any obvious way. Just as Necron society is rigidly hierarchical, so too are its tomb worlds. The most important are the Necron crown worlds, oldest and proudest of the Necron-held planets, and the sites from which the dynasties and planetary clusters are governed. Crown worlds were once hubs of galactic power in the ancient days of the Necron might, buttressed by the tithes and tributes sent from elsewhere within the territories of their ruling dynasties. With access to such great resource wealth, crown worlds were able to construct the most reliable stasis crypts for their inhabitants. As a result, crown world inhabitants that have weathered the slumbering millennia without falling a loaf of external circumstances have done so in excellent conditions, though this only dampens the tragedy of the Necron race when a crown world is lost to a galactic calamity. Next in importance for any Necron dynasty are the core worlds, planets which together form the heart of the dynasty's interstellar territory. The rulers of the core worlds would be the close kin to the regent of the dynasty's crown world, ensuring a bond of dynasty loyalty endured between the often diverse planets. Though neither so majestic nor so mighty as the crown worlds, the core worlds were great powers to be reckoned with, and in their heyday, and bearing disasters, are so again in the late 41st millennium. Finally, Necron fringe worlds are planets of menial importance to their ruling dynasties, not viewed as being of high enough status to be numbered amongst the dynasty's core worlds. Fringe worlds were often poor or distant colonies of a dynasty, able to contribute to the wider realm only in terms of manual labor, or as a location of a penal institution. Some fringe worlds will once have countered amongst the core worlds of different dynasties, but have since been conquered or otherwise succumbed into the domain of their current ruler, thus descending in status. There is no such thing as a typical Necron tomb world. Each answers only to the will of its noble ruler, and thus this Necron Lord defines everything from the grand campaigns to the architectural styles and forms of address between noble ranks. There is one common cause that binds all tomb worlds: the rebuilding of the Necron dynasties of old, and the return of the Necrons to their rightful place of supremacy over the whole of the ignorant galaxy. And those were 40 facts about the Necron tomb worlds. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We have a lot of Necron lore. I think Necrons are our number 2 race that has the most, well, I guess number 3, because first is Imperium, then Orcs and Necrons, but please click on the link so you can check out the Necron playlist and learn about the War in Heaven, the Necrotier, all that cool good stuff. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you can, like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps us keep putting out videos. So just by simply liking the video, you're helping us create more videos. So thank you guys, and I'll catch you tomorrow. This is Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.